In today's video, we're going to be reviewing a brand new power station from Bluetti called their EB70. Now this is a moderately priced unit, supposed to be big on features, and I was sure it would be a real hit. But unfortunately during the review, things didn't go as planned, and this was a huge letdown. And to help you understand why I was so frustrated, I'm going to show you a competitor's unit called the Ecoflow River Pro, because seeing these two devices side by side will help you better understand why I was so frustrated, and might also help you decide which one is the right unit to purchase. Start by looking at the outside. Now the specs on both of these units are almost identical, but there's a big difference when it comes to the physical size and the weight. The Bluetti is physically bigger and it weighs considerably more. By itself it weighs 21.4 pounds, but you can't go anywhere without the AC adapter, and this is going to add some more weight, and now it's going to top off at 23.4 pounds. That's a lot of weight to carry around with one hand, and I hate having the extra AC adapter. Now when you compare it to the Ecoflow, this thing only weighs 16.8 pounds. And my other favorite feature is you don't need an AC adapter at all. Just plugs into the wall directly using this power cord, and in total it's only 17 pounds. The next thing I hated about the Bluetti was the noise. It's got fans inside the unit. They even put one inside the AC adapter, and they were running all the time while it was charging, and I couldn't believe how much noise they were making. And the problem's even worse because that fan runs all the time, even when it's not charging the EB70 up. That's totally unacceptable, it's a waste of power, and you definitely will not like listening to that drone of a fan. And when we compare that to the Ecoflow, listen to the difference. And the sound is on right now. There's no noise at all. Using the Bluetti should have been easy, but I hated the interface, and the display was bright and easy to read, but it doesn't tell you much of anything. That battery gauge is graded in 20% increments, which is really weird. I would prefer that it would just tell me the percentage that the battery is charged. The other problem is this display is essentially dumb, meaning it can only show you the amount of power going in and out of the unit. In the real world, I want to know how many hours I can run the unit for, or if I'm trying to recharge it, how many hours is it going to take for it to charge to 100%. Now you might have thought this was good enough until you compare it to the Ecoflow. Ecoflow's display tells you everything right down to the amount of minutes it'll take until the unit will be fully charged. But if you're using power, the display will change to show you how long you can run with the power left. This is much more intelligent and gives you a lot more useful information while you're using it. The cooler feature is the River Pro has built-in Wi-Fi, and they give you this free app. And this thing isn't just some gimmick. You can see all the power information going on with the unit. You can turn the light on and off, but you can also turn the outlets on and off and customize other features. And they can even deliver firmware updates remotely, so if anything changes in the future, you'll still be covered. And I had really hoped that Bluetti would come up with their own app for their EB70, but unfortunately there's still no app control. The other problem with the EB70 is I kept leaving it on, because when the display is off, you can't tell if the power is on or off. It's only got these little tiny LEDs in the switches, and they're so recessed and dim, you don't even notice them on. You can see here when I have it in the cab of my ATV, as soon as that display's off, you have no clue that the power is on. Now in real life, you're going to put this thing aside, have no idea the power is on, and the battery is going to drain itself before you ever even realize it. And the Ecoflow does a much better job. The LEDs are white and they're much brighter and a lot more obvious. But if the display is ever off and you want to know what's going on, just press it once and it will just wake up the unit. On the EB70, if you press any of the buttons, it actually turns the outlets off or on. That's really ridiculous because if you're running, say, a refrigerator and you just want to check the charge of the battery and you're not going to press the AC button, you're going to turn the outlets themselves off. It's a crazy design and I definitely don't like it. Next, I wanted to try powering some real-world things to see how both units would do. So I started off with a simple egg beater. It's only around 150 watts, and the Ecoflow had no problems at all. When I switched over to the EB70, it also powered this appliance with no issues. Next, I tried this small heat gun. It uses about 300 watts, and this is where things started to get weird. It was fine on the Ecoflow, but you can see here it sounded a little bit different. It was a little bit lower powered on the EB70 than the Ecoflow. I can't explain the difference, but it definitely sounded unusual. Now I wanted to try running this 1200 watt heat gun. It's got a low and a high position. The low would be about 600 watts, so each of these should be able to run it. But I'm actually running it in the high position because the Ecoflow has this unusual mode.
So what this is doing is, it's allowing me to run a 1200 watt heat gun off of a unit that can only put out 600 watts. It's reducing the voltage, and this doesn't work for everything, but if you have something that's an overload, so as you notice, the unit's not shutting off, and it's still running it. So this is really handy if you want to run something that's over 600 watts by a long shot, and you can still actually run it.
Keep in mind there are no limitations on the Ecoflow at all when you're running 600 watts or less. You can run any appliance, and that even includes things like refrigerators. And now you can see what happens when I ran that heat gun using the EB70. Things definitely didn't go as planned.
I cannot see that LED. Jesus. So we'll start off by putting it on low, which the thing's not even on. What the? Yep. So this would not even turn this on. You gotta be kidding me. So this supposedly has a 1200 surge watt capacity. There's your surge capacity, so it ran for 2 seconds. So this unit supposedly puts out 700 watts, but even on low, it would not run. So there's something wrong with the controls in this thing. This is not right. That pisses me off, actually.
The EB70 does have two features that the Ecoflow doesn't. It's got a wireless charging pad on top, and the batteries inside the device are supposed to be better. But as you can see, the batteries alone don't actually make the device better. You need the device to last, and you need it to actually do what you want. And in this case, this EB70 did not deliver. It really frustrated me, and I was not happy with the experience at all. I'd have a hard time recommending this, and if you're a really big Bluetti fan, you might go ahead and order it and hope that they will fix some of these features down the road. But if I was making a purchase today, I would definitely get the Ecoflow River Pro. You can even add an additional expansion battery that you see here that can double the running time of this unit. So this is definitely a more mature product that's loaded with a lot more features, and it actually works. That's the most important thing of all. But either way, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos coming up.